Got an easy one for you today. So fall is officially here. Halloween is a few weeks out, so I thought I would do something themed for Halloween. It's going to be really easy. We're going to do a scrunch pattern on this shirt. We're going to use 2 colors and we're going to ice dye it. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, one of the tricks to these scrunches is keeping it flat when we're going to put the rubber bands on it. You're going to see this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. It wants to sort of fold up on itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and tighten this up as much as I can, and then we're going to use big rubber bands, and hopefully it will shrink down. You know, it's not going to look perfect, but it'll shrink down to something a little bit more closer to like this, I'm hoping. And then we will talk about the ice dye procedure. So you don't have to be as, I don't know, finicky as I was with this. You could just grab the shirt and do a couple of quick scrunches and it's going to look cool. I just thought, you know, a little bit of extra folding and stuff makes it a little more interesting in my opinion. So let's go ahead and rubber band it up and hope it doesn't fall apart. The more rubber bands you put on, the tighter this is going to squeeze, and you can see some of the folds are starting to pop up. That's okay. It's not unavoidable because there is a technique where people will use like chopsticks or small wooden dowels to keep it all very, very flat. But I didn't think that would be a necessary step for this particular shirt. This is meant to be easy. So, oh, there it goes. Okay, that's kind of what I was looking for. You can do more, you can do less. You'll see towards the end that this is one that you just can't do wrong. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to ice dye this. So I'm going to put this project into a tote, like a plastic tote. There is an elevated rack in the tote. I'm going to put the shirt on the rack and then build a ice barrier with aluminum foil. And that's what you're going to see next. I thought maybe it would be helpful to explain the ice barrier just a little bit better. So what you see is the tote, the elevated rack, and the project. Now what I've got here that I'm sliding in is aluminum foil. This is just your standard aluminum foil you get at Costco. I guess it's sort of a long-ish roll. I have folded it into thirds so that it's something like, I don't know, 6-7 inches. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit it around, oh man, I think I might have, yeah, okay. So I think this is just about the right size. And then what I'm gonna do is I just use tape to tape the ends closed. I'll show you that now. Okay, so ice barrier is up, I guessed right on the length. You don't actually necessarily need to use an ice barrier, but I use pebble ice, which means it's very small. And if I just pour pebble ice on top of this, it's gonna fall over the edge. And next step, I'm gonna put ice on top of this because we're gonna do dye over ice. And let me get this filled up with ice. All right, so now we've got about, I'm going to say 3 or 4 inches of this pebble ice that's on top of the project here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon dry powdered tie-dye onto the project. We're going to do 2 colors. I'll show you those now. All right, first color, deep orange. Second color, marigold. So I am picking fall colors, maybe jack-o'-lantern. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with this at the end because the colors is going to be the first thing, but then we're going to do a vinyl application on top of the t-shirt once it's done, either like a jack-o'-lantern. That's probably what it'll end up being, but maybe I'll get inspired and we'll do something different. So next thing, I'm just going to put dye down. You can put it down however you want it. Okay, pretty easy, right? You can put the dye down in any pattern you like. You could have done sort of like pizza slices. You could do stripes. These colors are going to play nicely together, so there's really no risk of bleeding two colors that compete bleeding in and creating like a brown color. So next thing, we wait 24 hours-ish, and then I will bring this back to the table, we will pop it open, and then we will talk about what kind of vinyl application we want to put on it to make sure that it's very noticeably Halloween. Okay, I think this looks pretty neat. So this is the side that the powder went down on. It's got a little bit of brownish green going on, and the back just blazing orange. So this is going to be cool. This shirt is for my wife. I'm not going to choose the vinyl decal that she puts on it, but I have a suspicion that I think I know what she's gonna want to do. So let me go ahead and back up, and then we'll pop this open. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this one's sort of screaming pumpkin, I think. Kind of all the little tertiary colors that you might associate with a pumpkin. Wow, in the video it looks very cool. This is quite dark looking in the video. I like this. It's a tiny bit brighter than it appears on this screen. Lighter, I should say. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, so super easy. I mean, basically 0 out of 10 difficulty. Next, I'm going to get it washed and then dried out, and then she'll pick what decal she wants to put on it, and we will put it on, and then we'll bring it back for a final reveal.